You kind of look back on the rescue and think, what could I have done differently? Being beside the lake, it was, I suppose, part of our family for generations, whether it was sailing, fishing, boating. So I just wanted to give something back to the community and help the community in some way. To be honest, because it was my first shout as kind of rescuing a casualty, which was a person. So I was very nervous. I was a little bit scared as well, and anxious. And I feel a bit of anticipation as well, of what to expect. So when we got the coordinates from the Coast Guard before we left the station. And so we literally just went straight to where the coordinates was taking us, which was just outside Garry Kennedy Harbour. When we got there, we couldn't see anything. So we saw the helicopter hovering over, I suppose, north of Garry Kennedy. So they informed us that there was a kayaker where they were. Yeah, so when we got there, he was leaned over the kayak. At that stage, he must have fallen out of the kayak, or the kayak must have capsized. Because it was an offshore breeze, it looks very calm when you look out onto the lake, but it's actually very deceiving. So when we got there, he was actually in the water. So he's half in the water, half leaning over the kayak. He actually had his phone in his mouth. Now he was very alert. He was responsive. He nearly just jumped in the boat. When he hopped into the lifeboat, he said, "Great, that's it. We'll head back in now." But then he said to us, "Oh, what about my friend?" And that was the first time that we realised that there was a second kayaker. He was a little bit, I suppose, worse for wear than the first kayaker. When we got there, he was same position. He was leaning over, he was half in the water and leaning over the kayak. He was a bit unresponsive, and once we got a little bit closer and we kind of shouted at him again, one of the crew members, Joe, he had to prise his fingers off the kayak. He was because he was so cold. So we just dumped the kayak and we literally just raced into Garry Kennedy. Because of the time of year that it was, in December, it's winter time. So, the water was freezing cold. Like if we were minutes later, it could be a completely different story. There was a feeling of, I suppose, relief that we did what we set out to do, was to save these two kayakers. So as trainee crew, you're just there as a fourth person to help out in some way. And you're gaining experience from being on the water as well. So, it's great, which was a great experience for me. It's a great team atmosphere down there. We all get on really well. There's very different personalities, but we all kind of connect in some way because we're part, I suppose, of one organisation, and we have one goal in mind. I love the sense of teamwork. So I suppose that's, there is a great kind of camaraderie with everyone.